What's going on, everybody? Sloth here. Hope you're having an awesome day. And in this video I'm going to be talking about the Destiny 2 reveal. It's had its big reveal, and although a lot of the starry-eyed fans are incredibly excited of what they've seen so far, some of us more realists are pretty disappointed at the best that Bungie and Activision have had to offer. And in this video I'm going to be going over the things where I feel these huge gaming tycoons have let themselves down so far. When I was watching Bungie's live stream, the thing that I immediately noticed was the reuse of existing subclasses. Now, when everyone else around me started cheering and screaming when I saw these subclasses come on screen, the ones that we've known and loved for the past 3 years, I myself felt a little bit let down and a little bit cheated at the fact that we've waited 3 years for a new game, and the best that Bungie and Activision could come up with was remodeling of the old subclasses. I just thought it was a bit lazy, and I think that people are going to tolerate it at first, but when the game actually comes out, you know, people are celebrating the fact that these old ones have came back now, but when the game actually comes out, we've already played with these classes for so long, and I know they've been remodeled, and I know they're going to be slightly different, but when it comes to actually playing the game for numerous amounts of hours, people aren't going to want to play with these classes because they've already done it, they've already been there, and they know all there is really to do with these classes. So I felt a little bit let down and a little bit cheated when I found out that they were bringing back at least one of the original subclasses from each class themselves. So for the Hunter, he's had his Golden Gun brought back. The Warlock, it's now confirmed that his Nova Bomb is coming back, and also the Titan, the Striker, is coming back. So I thought that was a little cheap. And then to see when they started showing off the new subclasses, the fact that it almost looked like they've reused some of the old models for the new classes. So I mean, the new Arcstrider subclass is basically, I mean, you gotta admit it, he's basically Blade Dancer through and through. It looks exactly the same, apart from the fact that he's now using a staff, then 2 blades. And me again, I think that's lazy, and I don't really think that's good enough from Bungie and Activision. Some people are super stoked for it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I love Destiny 1, I'm definitely gonna play the hell out of Destiny 2, but I just thought they could be a little bit more creative and come up with something slightly different, something that we hadn't seen before, something new and something fresh. And then you've got the Solar Warlock Super, looks like exactly the same as the Solar Titan Super from Destiny 1, Hammer of Sol. And to me, again, it's just, there's nothing new and there's nothing really creative there. Yes, it looks really cool, but it just seems to play exactly the same way as the Supers did from Destiny 1. And then the one I am excited for, which I cannot complain about, is the actual Void Titan subclass, the Sentinel, because it looks different. The way the mechanics look like it works, the way that you can block incoming damage with the shield, you can throw the shield, it bounces off multiple enemies. It's something that we haven't seen before, it's something new and it's something fresh, and I just really wish that Bungie had gone in that direction instead of giving us only really one new subclass in a game where we're potentially only going to get 6. I would rather have had 6 new subclasses that we could sink our teeth into, because to me the only new one that really looks like we are getting is the Sentinel subclass. Another area where I feel Bungie and Activision have let themselves down is just the amount of subclasses that we're going to be getting. Now, I know this has not been announced, but I smell a shaft coming. If it's anything like Destiny 1, I imagine that the game is going to release with 6 subclasses, 2 from each class. Now, if that is the case, you have to imagine that these are the only subclasses we're going to be getting at release, so we are really only getting one new subclass at release. The other subclasses I can imagine will be sold to us later on down the line as DLC, which I don't think really is acceptable. You can fool us once, Bungie, but, you know, fool me twice. It's just not right to me. It does not seem fair at the fact when Destiny 1 came out, we let it off because it was the first game in the franchise and we didn't know what to expect. So when we found out that the game was not finished at release and we were getting things sold to us as DLC later on down the line, we weren't happy about it, but we tolerated it. But this time I really thought Bungie would step it up and wouldn't do it to us again. But it kind of looks like that's the direction it's going. So you guys will have to let me know down in the comments below if you feel a little bit angry at the fact of the laziness and kind of the lack of creativity that in the 3 years that Bungie have had to develop this game, they have only been able to come up with one new subclass. Now, that just might be me getting annoyed at this, but I just think it's a little bit lazy on their side. Another huge glaring issue that a lot of other people have picked up on is the fact that Destiny 2 is going to be releasing in 30 frames per second, which in 2017 just really isn't good enough. Now, they're saying that the game cannot run on the current Xbox and the current PS4. It just isn't powerful enough, but hopefully on the Xbox Scorpio, it hasn't been announced yet, but hopefully on the Xbox Scorpio it will be able to run higher than 30 frames per second. But like I've saying, it's just a bit of kick in the teeth, to be honest, that the fact that the game's going to be coming out and it's going to be very similar to, it's going to look very similar to the original game, and there's just not that huge graphical advance that a lot of the fans were hoping for in the franchise. This is another point that I can kind of give and take, but I know a lot of other people that I've been speaking to about the game have been furious about, and it's the fact that there's only one raid at release. Now, a lot of games similar to Destiny in its kind of genre usually do release with one raid when they first come out. But a lot of people are angry at this because they feel that when Destiny 1 released, there wasn't enough content at launch, and they feel like this is going to happen again because they know 100% for sure that the new raid, when they do get released, are not going to be free, and you're going to have to probably pay £30 to £20 to get another raid. So they wished that there'd be enough content at release, maybe 2 to 3 raids. I know it's asking a lot, but if there was 2 to 3 games when the game first came out, you wouldn't have to be spending the price of a full game just to get them 2 raids extra, if that makes sense. So I can understand why people are angry about that. Me, myself, I can kind of take it with a bit of pinch of salt. If there's enough content at release besides the raid, I'll be happy and I'll be willing to pay for the DLC. But I'm not really happy to pay for the DLC, but I'll do it if needs must. Another area where a few fans have been angry is the fact that I've talked about the subclasses and the reuse of old subclasses here, but a lot of fans were screaming out for a new class in general. So at the moment the game has the Hunter, the Titan and the Warlock. Now people were screaming out for a new class, a new hero to dig deep into, to learn about, and just to add a bit more versatility to the game. Now sadly Bungie so far have not released this. I highly doubt they are going to release a new hero themselves. At this point I feel like if they were going to do it, they would have showed it off at the gameplay premiere on the May 18th. But you never know, they might come out with this somewhere down the line. I highly doubt it, but they might. But me myself, I was kind of hoping for this too, a bit of fresh air into the game. It's not like the game had a lot of lore that was flushed out so they couldn't show it. I mean, they did have a lot of lore in the Grimoire, but let's be honest, no one actually read the Grimoire unless you was a really dedicated fan. So they kind of had a clean slate. They could have introduced a new hero pretty much seamlessly, because probably 70% of the population that plays Destiny have never even heard of the Grimoire, let alone even looked it up and read it. So they could have easily have made big drastic changes to the game that would have helped it tremendously, but sadly it does not look like they've gone in that direction. Now I sadly was not at the gameplay premiere for Destiny 2. I was not invited, and also my appendix tried to kill me by exploding inside my body, so I was at hospital at the time that it happened. Spoke to a lot of the people that went to the premiere, and a lot of them are saying that there's just nothing new. It seems like Destiny 1 2.0 rather than Destiny 2, if that makes sense. It seems like the subclasses are the same, it's 30 frames per second, it looks pretty much the same, and it just kind of seems like an extension of Destiny 1 rather than Destiny 2, not the sequel we've all been yearning for and looking for and hoping for. And some people say this is a good thing because, you know, you can't have enough of a good thing, and Destiny 1 was a good thing, but I think a lot of other people were hoping for a big advancement. For instance, new enemies. There are some new enemies. I've seen some Cabal wielding swords, some little dog Cabal looking things, but there just doesn't seem like enough new content. Not enough new content, sorry, that's a bad way of wording it. Just enough new things within the game. Like I was watching the new Strike while they were playing it, that was being streamed, and to me it just looked like one of the original Strikes with the new skin. Even the areas, the vets, they all look the same. I know they are the same, but it just felt exactly the same. So it's up to you guys to make up your own mind whether you're happy with a lot of the same or you wanted something new yourself. But these have kind of been my 2 cents about the things that I've been disappointed with, and just being a voice for some of the other people that have said they're disappointed with the reveal, because I know a lot of fans kind of get a bit too fanboy, and they'll just kind of love anything Bungie and Activision throw at them. I myself am a huge fanboy, but you have to be realistic at the fact that what we've been shown so far isn't actually really, I don't think, good enough for how long they've had to develop the game and for the feedback that they've had. You may disagree with me, that's completely fine. I don't want this to come across like I'm completely bashing on the game, because I did love Destiny 1 and I'm really excited for Destiny 2. There are a lot of positives that are going to come out of this game, and I'm going to make a video on the positives later on about what I think's good about what we've seen so far about Destiny 2, especially within the PvP area. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like, comment down below. I'm going to be making a lot more Destiny 2 content. And without further ado guys, have a great day.